When the day begins, your thoughts are of the best intentions. How can you make this day the best it can be? You wonder, what will this day bring? Your family awaits you in the distance, coaxing you to run to them and join them in some early morning shenanigans. This is what families do. Off to the fields to dream of being an airplane pilot or an astronaut, whatever you want to be, it's your imagination, and it can take you anywhere. Run to the lake to join everyone in a game of tag or hide and seek. Celebrate your victories dancing around foolish celebration antics. Chase down your family at the beach, fling kites, feeling the ocean's breeze hit your face. Being a child is an amazing experience. There are many children who have had this experience taken away from them by CPS. They will never feel the attachment to family the way they should. They are being robbed of life's precious experiences, and people are allowed. As the sun sets slowly, and so many are anticipating the new day with their family, there are so many others laying there wishing that they could be with their own families. This torture needs to be stopped. These children will wake up alone and fight the world by themselves instead of surrounded by the family God gave them. We must abolish CPS and stop neglecting children who once enjoyed living with a family of their own. Studies show we are destroying these children, not helping.
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children who should be nurtured and protected are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title IV says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
What's up, everybody? It's Monday here, CPS Victims, Hunter Justice. I'm your host, the CPS Punisher. We've got a chat over here. We've got Vinny over there. We got all kinds of things going on in here. So, yeah, there's the chat. Checking it out. I'm down here in this little circle. I'm right here now. Let's see what else we got going on. Hell, well, we got Vinny right up here. Let's see what Vinny's got to say. Vinny's got a lot to talk about. Let's hear what Vinny's got to say.
I do, in fact. Actually, that whole statement in there about how Title 4E is being riveted with fraud, let me tell you people, it is definitely being riveted with fraud. Because in these reports that I was looking at today, I was seeing lie after lie. Them trying to definitely parental alienate my oldest daughter from us by having her call her foster parents mom and dad.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. That's wrong too. That's so wrong. Absolutely wrong. But
And they definitely admit to talking to my child one-on-one in her bedroom alone.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's just disgusting what they're out there doing. And I mean, they're wheeling and dealing and running and bobbing and jagging and stealing kids, man.
They're doing it quick too, because they're in the past week, I've seen the numbers climb up a bit in Maine. A bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all trying to bob and weave and grab as many kids as they can now because of this new, the new Trump administration that's coming in. And if everybody thinks that that's a lie, it is not.
Yeah, no, it's not a lie what he's going to be doing. I read his report, and I read what he's going to be ushering in. And let me tell you, none of what that man is saying has changed since when he was in office before. He's been trying to attack these people for years.
Yeah, and they just put the kibosh to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't let them. We can't let them stand up, man. We can't let them get any sort of working room under them. Hey, check this. Herbert put this video up for us, so check this out. Look at this. This is about how to stop CPS from coming on your property here. Check this out.
Yeah, I gotta see this.
Now I'm looking at these two caseworkers. Now, what do you think this dude's like?
I'm Sarah.
Listen to the analysis here. What do you think? Who do you think in this situation is more apt to want to steal your kid?
I would say the cop standing there.
Well, do you think it's the girl, or do you think the dude is the one that's really the aggressor for the child?
Probably both. I would, just by the way they came up to him and the way the dogs were barking. I mean, those are pretty gnarly dogs right there. A dog would tell you whether he thinks that you're okay or not.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's see what happens.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you. Before we begin, can we don't agree to be recorded. Okay.
My property, we're recording.
Okay.
And what do you think we're beginning with? I'll start with that. Those are for you.
Okay. Okay, for child abduction. Okay. Okay.
We're not going past here. I don't know what you're
Is there any way I can see Stormy or whatnot?
Huh?
Is there any way we could?
Are you a doctor?
No.
Why do you want to see my daughter?
Just to verify just her well-being.
She's fine.
Okay.
So we just had a doctor's appointment yesterday.
Okay. And who's your doctor?
Dr. Fox in Mount Pleasant.
Dr. Fox in Mount Pleasant?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything's okay? Any concerns?
You? Yeah. You're concerned.
Okay.
You told me on the phone yesterday that you were here to perform a wellness check in my home.
Mm-hmm. Just to make sure, it's appropriate sleeping and food and running water and utilities.
You know, that's a violation of our privacy.
Okay.
And a threat to my family.
Okay.
So what training do you have that enables you guys to certify what's acceptable and what isn't?
What's just our proper protocol? That's all.
Well, proper protocol is to acknowledge the no trespassing sign and not go past it like the police did yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They came with you, right?
Yep, correct.
They stopped at the no trespassing sign, right?
Yep.
Okay, why did they do that and you didn't?
Well, I just proceeded to...
It's unlawful what you did.
Right, well, we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, well, we're talking about it in a different context today, because if you're going to walk past a no trespassing sign and then tell me that you're qualified to assess anything in my house after breaking the law, do you?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Although this principle may have been founded with the best interest of the child, it's now being used to invade and violate the privacy of the people without any probable cause. Do you have probable cause to believe that my house is unsafe?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, so why is this so important to you?
It's just we received a referral. Like I told you over the phone, I can't tell you
From Dr. Adrian?
I can't.
I know that's who it was.
Yeah, okay. So I can't confirm or deny.
You told me that you're coming to my home with 2 CPS agents and 2 police units was due to a referral, yet you can't tell me who the referral came from.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't.
Okay, you understand how law works, right?
Yeah.
If I accuse you of a crime, I need to be willing to attest to that under penalty of perjury and a sworn affidavit. Right? Here we don't have that?
No, not in this situation, no. We're different than law enforcement.
Obviously, you've got more power because the police stopped here at the no trespassing sign and you just walked right here.
I wasn't advised to stop or to go, so I just proceeded.
Well, you know what trespassing is,
Absolutely.
right? It's a crime. Okay?
If you want to prosecute, then go ahead. That's fine with me.
If I want to prosecute, you were here with 2 police officers. They should have arrested you.
Right. But that's their mishap.
You're right. It is. So who'd you bring with you?
That was Bay County Sheriff.
Do you have their cards? Who were the individuals that were here?
I don't have a card, but it was the Bay County Sheriff. You can probably call since you just called.
Why do I need to call? You brought the armed men to my house.
But they're concerned about it.
What? You don't even know who you brought?
I know who I brought, but I just can't release their information.
They were on my property, and you can't release their information.
No, but like I said,
you see where we're going with this?
Right, we just talking.
If you come to my property bringing police for your safety,
yeah.
Okay, I'm in charge of safety here, not you.
Right. Correct, that's true.
Okay, and you're going to come here and break the law, and then you need safety?
Yeah.
See what I'm getting at? Do you see why we're terrorized?
Right.
Do you see why my workday hasn't started yet?
Right.
Because I'm afraid of you guys.
Well, you don't need to be afraid. Like I told you over the phone, our intent is
we don't need to be afraid?
No.
I see people's dogs being shot because your safety is in question now because you're trespassing on my property. So these cops are going to shoot my dog because of your safety while you're trespassing on my property?
We hope that's not an issue. But...
Well, it won't be because you won't be back here, okay? You won't be back here.
Okay.
We are in fear of our safety right now.
Right.
You
and
are creating this fear. We were gone yesterday. We felt like running.
Yeah, I mean, you told me over the phone, and I apologize for creating any fear that you guys had. So.
Well, do you understand it though?
I haven't lived it, so I can't understand it.
You're here without probable cause. You bring armed men. If my dog scared you, they would shoot him for your safety. Spend some time on YouTube. My little dog is pretty scary.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
But I get it. You've been through a lot, and I understand where you're coming from. So.
Well, you said you wanted to meet one-on-one today.
Right.
And we're not one-on-one, so we're recording.
Okay. Well, you brought someone else too.
Yeah. This is my home.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I can have 50 people here.
Right. If you feel, do you want my coworker to sit in the car, or what's comfortable with you?
No, I don't care. She should be here. I'm not trying to start an argument here.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you understand what's going on.
Right.
From our perspective.
Right. And I'm not in your shoes, so I haven't lived it. So
well, you need to put yourself in my shoes.
Right, and I want to.
Because you are terrorizing us.
Okay.
This is scary, okay? We didn't want to come home last night to our own house.
Right.
Because we've seen what CPS does.
And I did my research, so I've looked at, what you guys been through over the past
Have
few
you
years.
seen Nancy Schaefer videos?
I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen some.
No, this is a congresswoman who is doing the same thing I am now, and she was murdered. This is scary business, okay?
Yeah.
You guys do not have the authority you think you have.
Okay.
You told me the police were brought to my property for your safety.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm in charge of safety here, and you guys need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's just not just me. This is everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody on their own property is in charge of their own safety.
Correct.
When you bring a countering force to that,
Mm-hmm.
you're asking for confrontation.
Correct.
I mean, it just makes
That's
sense,
why I came
right?
along today.
You told me you saw and understood the no trespassing signs ahead of my driveway, yet you ignored it while observing two police officers honor it. The police officers should have immediately arrested you and your teammate for trespassing.
Yeah.
Were you the one?
No, I was not here
No, someone
yesterday.
else.
Do you have a card,
Mhm.
Sarah? You are operating from a position of really bad training, excessive amounts of wrongly assumed authority, and callous disregard for the individual rights and privacy of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you and your four-man terror cell that were here at my house yesterday are endangering my family and our baby, and you are wrongly believing that you are helping?
You're welcome.
How would you feel if I were to come to your home and I brought with me multiple men with guns that enforce the group's objectives regardless of the law,
Mm-hmm.
that would kill or kidnap the opposition? How would you feel if I came to your house with guns?
I feel violated.
You would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the perspective I'm trying to help you understand.
Right. I'm getting where you're coming from.
Okay, well, this is a problem all over the state.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why today I didn't come with anybody.
Well,
I understood what you
appreciate
said, so
that.
that's why I came along. So I did take in what you told me.
Well, there's a lot more to it. I'm not a single voice here.
Right.
Okay.
I know you're activist, so I get it.
I'm not an activist. I'm an advocate. Okay. There's a difference between advocate and activist.
Yeah.
Okay. If I was an activist, there would be people here with guns trained on us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to understand. I'm trying to help you.
Okay.
You guys have a job to do. I understand that. You
Right.
get a referral from somebody. You got to follow up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what you do from that point on determines how everything goes.
Correct.
I'm seeing people's children stolen from their arms in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We were detained unlawfully at the hospital Sunday. We were supposed to come home Sunday, but we couldn't because the referral that was going to you couldn't happen till Monday.
Okay.
Dr. Regmi told me that he would not discharge my baby from the hospital without first making sure that my home was safe for my baby on Sunday, June 26, 2016. Dr. Regmi is who generated your super secret referral and unlawfully detained Daniel Austin, baby Stormy, and myself. Dr. Regmi somehow has access to information that is maintained by the state. This is a major violation of our privacy by both the state and the doctor. And you guys are the state agency.
Correct.
Okay, the doctor is not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somehow this doctor got access to a CPS case from Isabella County where Daniel Austin's 3 children were kidnapped by CPS. You guys do this every day, right?
Yep.
Her children were taken absent a court order.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do that?
Nope.
You have to have a court order. It's in your handbook. I've read it.
Yeah, it is. It's Bay County, not Isabella.
It's a county in Michigan. That's my point.
Right.
Now, I'm hoping and I'm praying, actually, that Bay County is not as screwed up as Isabella.
I can't speak on Isabella, but I know we do things the ethical way.
The ethical way? Okay, well, that comes into question, too, when 2 police officers watch 2 state actors trespass on our property. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Okay, everything's built on a foundation.
Right.
The foundation started when you ignored our no trespassing signs. Okay, now we're trying to build some trust here. Because I'd like to believe that I can go to work and earn a living and take care of my baby without you guys hijacking my efforts.
Okay.
And interfering with the family. We are terrorized, okay?
Okay.
We are scared shitless.
What you thinking, Gunner?
And I apologize.
You guys. You guys have this assumed authority that you really shouldn't. And you guys need to know that.
Horseshit, and horseshit. They're going to go back to their training. They've already had classes on this. It's been nationally trained on how to not, well, let's put it this way. I call it the coercion class. They have a fancy name for it that they teach police officers and CPS workers. And this is evident in those case files that it talks about this, that they want to make sure that you go to this class, that everybody in the state is now mandatory to go to this class. It's offered by this national organization that trains CPS workers and medical staff. I mean, this is a big hoodoo. They go to convention centers for this shit, for this type of training, and basically saying how to basically coerce your way in. It's a matter of the same thing we saw with our guests last time. We were trying to get through to them of, I get you feel you're doing the right thing and everything else, but it comes down to this. If your CPS, that is a public, if he has posted no trespassing, he might want to clarify a little bit, no warrant, no entry. This is why you have to be very specific on what you say and post it. That is called a public declaration. There's a legal term for that. It was posted the same way as it's posted not to carry your weapon inside the bank. It's posted no shirt, no shoes, no whatever, no service. It's posted. There's laws about this. If it's not posted, then yes, you give them the chance to have the loophole, and it goes both ways, whether you interact with the business or how the government deals with you in your private sector. That is a double hinged door. Absolutely. So that's one thing that we're just trying to get. The thing is, it's real simple. If you don't have federal case law, which dictates how they're supposed to write their procedures and policies, it's supposed to be constitutionally sound. The only way an officer or CPS, any government representative, state or federal, doesn't matter who they are or who they work for, if they're a subcontractor, same thing. If you do not have a warrant or a legal court order signed by the judge and with the seal, as done properly, or you don't have an emergency, which according to that same court order or that same case ruling, that case law that says an emergency is where you are a first person experience of a life-threatening situation. Life-threatening. Not, or what they call imminent danger. In other words, at any given time, somebody could die. There's a gun in somebody's hand, and we don't know whether it's loaded or anything else. That is considered imminent danger. It hasn't gone off, because you're talking about cause and effect. And a lot of times what we've been playing in is the theory of we want to head this off or be the precursor to prevent violence. And that has way overstepped the line with adding that with the Chevron doctrine allowed the states. Now and this passed all the way down to law enforcement because it starts at the top and shit rolls downhill. That they got some bad training and some bad information of, hey, you just do it this way, or hey, you just do it this way, or they gave me consent, this and that. No, that federal case law says unless you have those things, and even clarified to say in an anonymous report or in a report is not good enough to get a fucking warrant. There's already federal case law. So if you show up, no matter how nice you are, that I was trying to get through to previous guests, it doesn't matter. As soon as you enter and come past that threshold and you do not have a court order or a warrant or an emergency, you have just broken the law because you are acting under the color of law with your job position. You are a representative of the state or government.
Which takes away their which takes away their immunity as soon as they do.
As soon as they take and do the immunity, let's put it this way, and this is the things they do not want you to hear. As soon as they break that constitutional law, you have every right under the Constitution of the United States, which is why the Second Amendment was created, is to defend your home if you feel threatened. Somebody coming in to steal your children is absolutely a qualified. It's how you present it in court, though. Well, a representative from the case and this and that, Your Honor, show me the warrant. Was there an emergency? Well, they didn't have time. No. if they part of national policy and procedure is if a CPS worker feels that there is danger or could be imminent danger, even from the pre-screening report, they are to call law enforcement immediately for preventative measures. That is a national thing for every state must comply with this. That's on the federal side, which means every state must comply because you get that money. If you don't, you've broken the law once again, and that's fraud. Because the idea is you have to go by all the rules to get paid. What we're all coming together on is the fact you're not following the rules. You're under the Chevron doctrine. You got away with shit and nobody caught on to it because you thought yourself the ultimate authority. You twisted everybody in every single state to fight and fight and fight in state making the money.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling.
So it's all about the money. Because if it was about the right thing, then we should all be able to sit back and talk with all of our officers and all of our CPS and say, listen, we have to rectify the scales. Why? The state has been having you commit felonies left and right. And it goes with your training. Because of a lot of these training seminars and up-to-date this and that, there was one not too long ago, even just for the police on the East Coast, with a guy that was telling people how to do chokeholds on the stage before people.
Oh, man.
And you know, how to get them to submit or faster grasp or whatever. They shut it down. They defunded it. But these people are still running around teaching bad doctrine. This ain't no different than what's ever going on. There's people out there that'll do good or bad. But when we take away the checks and balances of does it meet the constitutional measure, this is a non-negotiable thing, people, for all states. This shouldn't even be a question. If you come in and this, I get you feel the right of it, you feel you need to protect all children, but your need to protect children or your job doesn't overcome or doesn't trump my rights. You got to understand that is the line you don't cross. That's the thing of saying you're going into tyranny. Because if you can't respect the Constitution, which are inalienable rights endowed to us by our Creator, then why the hell are we doing this? Because we're not even following our own government or our own structure that they're supposed to, and even by the rules. The states are supposed to be doing this. It's all supposed to be the measure of law under the Constitution.
Right.
And there's bullshit.
At what point does our rights as parents supersede that of the caseworker's question of imminent danger? You know, at what point does that come to play?
Once again, it goes down to here's the profit and here's why. Because if it was truly a crime, CPS has no authority to arrest, detain, or do a fucking thing. You are interfering with a law enforcement situation at that time. That's why Texas moved it back over to the law enforcement and let them direct, which is the way it should be. They are not supposed to be running around frivolously on what they call phone in and anonymous reports. They are supposed to be servants or friends of the court, an extended arm of the court to assist the court in what it's doing, not going out creating its own business and its own fucking revenue of $60 million plus a year. I mean, it's
more than that in the state of Maine.
Right.
Well, once again, it's collectively, it goes back to the same thing. You believe kids should be raised this way, or this is improper, or this is improper, but it's not illegal. If it's illegal, then there you go. But until we go to a criminal court to deal with that, civilly, you've got no business getting involved in any fucking thing. That should have been a directive from the judge to kick it back to a family court hearing because there's a criminal action or something else, or there is imminent danger and it has been proven enough that there's an indictment or something like that. They walk around as carefree as possible, stealing as much as they can. And they're under the guise and sold, it's the children, it's the children. Your intents are pure, I get it. But one thing, and this is the thing I want to explain to people, this is how they get some of their caseworkers and they get moved up. And I found this out from several reliable sources. They come in thinking they're saving the world. As soon as they see something, now there's one that she says, hey, I'm noticing trafficking going on. She wouldn't buy the line or anything else, so she quit. And then they went after her because they needed to keep her silent, and they just slandered the hell out of her. But her evidence and everything else is freaking impeccable if you'd ever see it, of what's actually going on in that entire state. She had the entire state by the balls. But once again, buried because of what? Pressed down. Because they want to discredit. They want to do this. They don't want people to know what they're doing.
Right.
The other case, give you an example. Single moms. They love single moms, single parents, this and that. Nothing to lose. Or people that are very young. Now, this goes back, and they learned this from the mafia. 100% because it's a shakedown. 100%. It's a blackmail setup. You're going along thinking you're doing what is good for the people in the neighborhood or what you feel is right. The whole time they are involving you in crimes that you are now co-conspirators of deprivation of rights under the color of law because they've said it's okay. You're still the one following the order and not questioning and the boots on the ground committing a crime. You're now together. And the first thing they'll tell you, you'll go down, and that's a felony, and that's a federal offense of what you did. So now you've got two chances. And the first one's not even an option. You could run this and that, but understand this, that we're not going to let you talk. Or second, I'm going to blackmail you. You know why? What happens? Because you used to work for us. You're caught doing something illegal and federally illegal. The state can't intervene. You see how that goes for the lower boss to the higher boss? See, it's all the same.
Would it explain why so many different caseworkers end up being switched out with new ones? Like in my case, there's been 4.
Yeah. And so they switch it up, trying the different methods, the different ways, the different attacks, their different mentoring tactics that are on that to trying to get people to comply. But now if you're a caseworker and say you're a single mom with children, and Herbert, you're more than happy to tell her I said this. And he knows who I'm talking about. You are now complicit in a felony, a federal felony. That means, guess what happens? You get indicted. You know what happens? Guess who gets your kids?
CPS.
Oh, and it's a legitimate reason because you have a federal felony hanging over your head because you broke the law, because you worked for the government, and because you didn't think about somebody's constitutional rights. You're done. That's a felony, and all they have to do, they can sue you, yes, but they can also press federal charges because you did it in a position of authority or that of the state or the government. It's a felony, and you will go to jail and pay fines on top of it. And there's enough to indict you because they can come in and say, oh, well, they said I could come in or I have permission. That federal court case says, I don't give a shit. It says warrant, court order, proper, all these things proper, or an emergency. Otherwise, you got no fucking business in that house is what that federal judge said.
That's right.
Blank. End of conversation.
Mm.
Not on your buddy. Well, your food. Hey, we got to report you to have no food in your fridge. Oh, I got food in my fridge. Here, come in. Look, that's coercion.
Mm.
That's coercion.
Let's see where we go with this. Let's check this out.
Both.
CPS is a branch under DHS.
Right. Okay. Thanks for confirming that. The petition submitted to the court asking for a court order to remove Daniel Austin's children was denied by the judge. The petition. You guys submit the summons and petition all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys initiate the court case file, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what a summons and petition is. You understand that the petition asked the court for permission through a court order to remove the children from the home, right?
Correct.
Okay. You also then understand what that petition being denied means, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We had a denied petition in Isabella County, but her children had already been taken with no ex parte order, and she never got them back. She's still without her children that were taken by the state.
kidnapping.
Okay, this is our perspective.
Right.
You guys know what a petition is.
Right.
It's not like I'm talking to, strangers on the street.
Yeah.
You guys initiate these proceedings all the time.
Hear that?
You guys create
You
the
initiate
petition.
them.
You create the allegations. You create the sworn affidavit. You submit that to the courts. You get a case number in the courts, and then there's a hearing. Right? You guys been to these hearings.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what happens when the judge denies the petition?
She's returned back home.
Immediately. That never happened with the woman that's in this house. So you have to understand that this fear is justified.
Right, it is. And like I said, I can't speak on what happened in Isabella County.
But it's the same agency. You guys are working for the same agency.
Different county, but I get what you're saying.
This is an order, verbal order to cease and desist. Your actions here have been unwelcome, and you and your team have scared us horribly and made us feel unsafe in our own home. We feel terrorized. You made us feel like we should run with our baby for the safety of our family and our baby and our family. Does that make sense?
And I apologize if we, induced any fear. So I'm apologizing again for that.
It's overwhelming, Ronnie.
Yeah.
The fear is overwhelming. When people are cornered like this, weird things happen. Okay? I don't want any issues. I want to be left alone. I want to raise my child. This should be the happiest time of my life.
Right.
Al.
Congratulations. I know it's
Hey, Darren.
Yes, sir.
If you get a chance, I want you to go back when he first mentions Isabella County, and I want you to look at that man and that woman's face and know they've read that report just by the expression on their face. They know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
Right there.
Every state has a shared, notice the cease and desist Vinny's got up there. They have a shared database system they are trying to work on making it through CPS going from state to state without asking the other authority. In other words, even if you go to Oklahoma, they're wanting to be able to have access to what happened to you or anything else in, say, Texas.
Right.
They want that communication through there. And that's without using a court. So there's another illegal step that they're trying to form a database, because the only legal database for anybody that's actually had anything is the FBI's list of national sex offenders. All this other shit's being done under the states. It's a moneymaker. So notice how they sent out, hey, I wasn't part of this crew. I wasn't part of that crew. But go back and look at his face when he says what county he's from. He's read that report.
What are you looking at?
And they're working on a system that talks to everybody without getting a subpoena. Because see, if you move to the county and there's a report, they're going to call back and pull your previous addresses, and they're going to call back to that county that you lived in and call the local CPS and ask if there's been anything that's happened in that county with your particular name or anything like that. They can make the phone call. They don't have access to the court records.
That makes sense. I think that.
Yes,
I think you're onto something there, Gunner. That makes sense though, because they're doing it already in Maine, and that's what Katahdin does.
You want to know the scary part? Look at their home visit checklist form. I've got one for every state.
Yep.
You know what one of the questions is on there? Do you have any firearms in the home?
Yep, that is the first question they ask.
None of their business.
Hold on. You realize that now goes into their computers, that whole form. That is now an illegal gun registry that they are running. Somebody better wake the hell up, because it's an illegal gun registry. Because they have it, they share it. I've had people that turn around, hey, we've got listed as, you having weapons in the house. Are they safe and secure? How the fuck did you know that?
Well, here's like this. I'm not telling you any different, but how about when you go to the hospital and all of a sudden they come up and say, well, we got a copy of your toxicology report. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I never said that you could do that. She never said you could do that.
That's called illegal seizure. Matter of fact, you have to give consent for all of it.
Just like they got
and everything else.
They got my juvenile record, and I got to see it today in his office, and they do have it. They have my juvenile record.
Ted Visner, Tammy, if you've got my email, send me my email. I'm not familiar with Ted. I don't think he's reached out to me.
But by the way, Gunnar and Darren, I just emailed you guys.
Yeah, I got it, man.
All right.
What we're dealing with is basically a bunch of people that were in power that were very loose with their translation of doing things. The Constitution is exceptionally, it's perfect because it basically says there's a place where it needs to stop. And this is what you all have signed an agreement to, all 50 states, that you will not do. But because they come up with this fancy little thing with the Chevron doctrine that we're all now professionals and that's all we have to claim to break the rules, I'm sorry. It doesn't work for me. And I don't care what color you come under, whether it's a badge, a government, or anything else. The Constitution is the Constitution. And you may like it this particular way that you have the ability to do this thing, but here's the other thing. If they have the ability to do it to somebody else, they have the ability to do it to you. And if you're willing to bend or break the fucking law or the Constitution, which is law, I've got no respect for you. And you need to think. I mean, that's where a lot of people need to think. And I think a lot of this is we're not coming to the table. I think we're butting heads a lot with people with CPS and everything else. And it's not them. It's your administrators. It's who has the money. You guys get paid jack shit. Where's the money go? And they're doing this and they're doing that. This is that. It's so underfunded, but they made it keep looking like it to gain more money. They're constantly back in the state's pocket. Almost every budget year, we need more. We need more. They're lobbying, and they're their own fucking agency.
Well, listen, this
listen.
What was last year's total volume that they took in between the captive, between Title IV, between all of these things that they got? What was that total number? I bet you it's damn near close to $1 trillion.
Yeah.
And I bet you it damn near goes right next to the military. So just like I asked that caseworker, there's plenty of money going out there. Why is this money not being put in the right places? That's not a matter of us not giving them the right amount of the money.
Well, remember too, you got to understand it's a double-edged sword. Here's the thing. When the government says, I will create jobs.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you just learned the lessons of what those jobs pertain to.
Yeah. You just lost.
I don't want that. We don't need that. Unless there's a law broke, leave people alone. I granted somebody needs a job, but maybe the job isn't taking and beefing up all this other stuff and going back to what we had of, fearing the citizens. I mean, that's who people work for. Don't push me. If I've broken a law, by God, take me in. Everybody's all for it. But when you start fucking with people because of the ideals of their children, whether you like it, they're raised or not, and here's the harsh fucking reality none of them can deal with. If there was another Great Depression, our government nosedived this country. Okay, our elected appointed officials will say to the government, unless you're rich, the government now owns your children.
I don't even think it's going to be them. Rich people aren't even going to be protected on this next one. But let's see where else they go with this here real quick.
Petition.
I don't want to get Herbert upset.
Immediately. That never happened with the woman that's in this house. So you have to understand that this fear is justified.
Right, it is. And like I said, I can't speak on what happened in Isabella County.
But it's the same agency. You guys are working for the same agency.
Different county, but I get what you're saying.
There's the sales pitch.
You did it. Yep.
Not the same.
This is an order. Verbal order.
You really get it.
Exist. Your actions here have been unwelcome, and you and your team have scared us horribly and made us feel unsafe in our own home. We feel terrorized. You made us feel like we should run with our baby for the safety of our family and our baby and our family.
And notice the woman is taking precedence of the land all the way around her.
Any fear, so I'm apologizing again for that.
It's overwhelming, Ronnie.
Yeah.
The fear is overwhelming. When people are cornered like this, weird things happen. Okay? I don't want any issues. I want to be left alone. I want to raise my child. This should be the happiest time of my life.
Right. Congratulations. I know the circumstances aren't the best, but congratulations.
Redirection.
Thank you both for saying
that's what that's called. See how he slid that in there, redirected him.
I don't know.
Except for the circumstances we're dealing with.
I would like for you guys to understand where I'm coming from and where the people of Michigan are coming from when you're met with a camera. Okay, we're not doing this to be rude.
Right.
Okay, you know, it would be great if I could invite you in and have a cup of coffee, but a situation that doesn't allow for that in this case. You know, this is a different county, but you are part of the same state agency that's doing this elsewhere. Okay, you guys should be enraged yourself that this kind of things are happening in any county. Okay, because it's a reflection on all of you. There needs to be some internal checks. You can't just call up the cops and say, hey, I need an escort for my safety because I'm going to go trespass on somebody's property. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to think these things through.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be confrontational, but more educational.
Right.
Because I don't like violence. I don't like any of that. But some things need to be fixed.
Right.
And an understanding needs to happen. You know, I feel terrible that we're not sitting at my kitchen table having a coffee.
Hold on, Darren.
I don't trust
what
you
he
guys.
said right there?
Or the police.
Now this is subtle. Let me interpret this for a second. Where he turns around and he says, "Listen, I'm not a man of violence, but this has just got to stop and this and that." They will read that as this is a man willing to commit violence to defend his children. The way they're going to take that. That is, they will consider that under their policies and procedures and everything else they go through. That is called an idle and possibly feasible threat, that I am being threatened with violence because the word violence was used and because that was this. It wasn't a so when you talk, the point is articulate thing, cause and effect. If I say you're going to break into my house, I'm going to kill you. That type of thing. That's cause and effect. If you don't break the law, I'm not going to kill you, obviously, under my Second Amendment right. Till you can articulate that way, you see how he's struggling to articulate, define the words, and they're trained in trigger words because it's all psychologically based. She's waiting for a response from anything else. Notice she's sitting there. She's the observer. He's working over here. Either she's supervising or she's the trainer, because she's going to let him take most of the thing and kind of notice how he redirects it, rolls it off everything else. But notice right there, that's what they'll take that back, that she just put a note, and you'll watch her body language. You can rewind it just a little bit. And he talks about violence. Watch her. Just rewind it just a little bit and watch her. And watch her body language when he says something about it. She took that in right there, that's going in her report.
In Isabella County, but her children had already been taken with no ex parte order, and she never got them back. She's still without her children that were taken by the state. Okay, this is our perspective.
Right.
You guys know what a petition is.
Right.
It's not like I'm talking to, strangers on the street.
Yeah.
You guys initiate these proceedings all the time. You guys create the petition, you create the allegations, you create the sworn affidavit. You submit that to the courts. You get a case number in the courts, and then there's a hearing. Right? You guys have been to these hearings.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what happens when the judge denies the petition?
Did we go too far back there?
Immediately.
I don't know. Did we?
That never happened with.
She's
that's in this
recording
house.
too.
I think we're right about where we came up. We're back where we were, so I might have gone not far enough.
No, that's fine. It was right there. He had just said it. Probably a little bit forward then.
Right here.
But it's the same agency. You guys are working for the same agency.
Different county, but I get what you're saying.
Right here, right?
A little bit further, just let it play.
This is an order, verbal order, cease and desist. Your actions here have been unwelcome, and you and your team have scared us horribly and made us feel unsafe in our own home. We feel terrorized. You made us feel like we should run with our baby for the safety of our family and our baby and our family.
Flight risk.
Does that make sense?
And I apologize if we, induced any fear. So I'm apologizing.
Look at the smirk on his face.
It's overwhelming, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fear is overwhelming. When people are cornered
Fear.
like this,
Psychological issues.
weird things happen.
Because them, it doesn't.
I don't want any issues. I want to be left
This
alone.
comment right there is a little FAFO.
This should be the
See it?
happiest time.
Yeah.
He's saying right here.
Okay, I don't want any issues. I want to be left alone. I want to raise my child.
Yeah.
This should be the happiest time of my life.
Right. Congratulations. I know the circumstances are.
Yep, it is the redirect.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you both for saying that. I don't harbor any ill feelings. I would like for you guys to understand where I'm coming from and where the people of Michigan are coming from when you're met with a camera. Okay, we're not doing this to be rude.
Right.
Okay, you know, it would be great if I could invite you in and have a cup of coffee, but a situation that doesn't allow for that in this case. You know, this is a different county, but you are part of the same state agency that's doing this elsewhere. Okay, you guys should be enraged yourself that this kind of things are happening in any county. Okay, because it's a reflection on all of you. There needs to be some internal checks. You can't just call.
See how the head nod on her stopped when he said there needs to be an internal check? She doesn't agree.
I was just going to say that. So,
Call up the cops and say, hey, I need an escort for my safety because I'm going to go trespass on somebody's property. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to think these things through.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be confrontational, but more educational.
Right.
Because I don't like violence. I don't like any of that. But some things
Violence?
need to be fixed.
Right.
And an understanding needs to happen.
Do you notice her body language there and understanding? She started nodding yes, agreeing with that. Says, yeah, we need to come to understanding, but only our understanding.
yeah, he's flipping it.
And it's only because of what we've seen and what we've been through.
Oh no, she's telling you right exactly what she believes and what she doesn't with head nod.
With my home.
Yeses, no's, all that other stuff. You can't control half of that.
Comfortable. There's food in the refrigerator.
You're doing it unconsciously.
We've got plenty of clean water.
But once again, it's the perspective that she's been taught.
Okay. We just had our wellness check yesterday. Our baby's gaining weight. And,
remember, this is a repeat offender she's going to, and that's her perspective.
So
This is another call.
Danny's breast milk's coming in, and we were out last night buying a breast pump, and we bought a cheap one, and it didn't work. It broke after 4 seconds. So the hospital one was hand operated and cramping the hands. And it was a mess. So last night at about 11 o'clock, we went back to Myers and we took back the broken one and got the $100 unit.
Yeah. Did it work better?
It worked awesome.
Good.
Yeah. It's super pumped and great, producing a lot of milk. And we haven't used any formula yet, and the baby's gaining and looking great, and there's no jaundice color in her face, under her eyes, and on her forehead.
Okay, now one thing here. Listen how much he's sharing. You're oversharing.
So
you're giving them ammunition against the more you talk, which is why you have your fit. You got a reason to be here, yes or no? If not, leave. He's oversharing so much. Okay, now I know I need to go to the doctor. I need to check medical records and make sure that that's true. If there wasn't jaundice or there wasn't something else in here that we can file a neglect charge on. This is how they think and how they go through, how they're trained.
We need to feel safe here. And we want to feel safe here. Right. And
He's even actually saying that he wants to feel safer, putting that out in there. Now you can say
once again, that's a psychological issue. He constantly repeats about feeling unsafe. For him and his own family. There's a psychological reason they could file for anything else because they firsthand witnessed it. This is why you don't talk to him.
And
it's off. Warrant? No. Goodbye.
Yep, I have
same with anything else. That property you live on is your castle. Nobody has any right in it unless they're invited. Bottom line. Or there's an emergency.
Yeah, I mean you are dealing with.
I don't need your forms. Okay. But I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Okay.
I hope you guys take this to heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's safe sleep.
Yeah,
for the infant.
Hospital.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he went over at the hospital.
Yeah, and the doctor said we shouldn't shake our child. But the doctor never said, don't flush her down the toilet. So we're kind of up in the air on that.
Oh, Jesus.
Have a sheet on that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Are you a father?
No, I'm not.
See, this is what you consider a casual conversation. You figure it's two people. They will use every bit of that against you and twist it every time. And there's not. Once again, once they're in because they're already looking at this from one perspective before they even show up. One, this is a repeat offender.
There's a safe sleep
Okay.
form.
2, what is
that
the
comes with
case
that
that
pamphlet.
happened in the hospital? 3, she's already lost fear of her children. That's all they know. They don't care whether it's legal or not. All they know is CPS got the children and they don't have them. That's the reality.
Yep, pretty much. That's her job.
Okay, well, you can't start with the assumption that we're not.
Yeah.
I'm
not calling her a bad parent, so.
Right. Well, I appreciate.
I'm a bad parent. Like, I have to measure up to somebody else. You hear this bullshit?
You know, I'm always.
I don't have to measure up to nobody.
My numbers all over the internet.
Okay.
The homeowner father initiated the shake of the hands, by the way.
Once again, he wants them gone. This is a formal thing of saying goodbye. He didn't want there, but once
They
again,
could have been going a long time ago. He should have shut his mouth. He's running his mouth too much.
oh, absolutely, he has overshared. He's tried to reason with them, and he has given them probably 20 different avenues to look at the traffic. 20 different.
But there was no reason. The only thing was when he first came on, I saw the video from the beginning. He says you can't come past this point, you'll be trespassing. That's it. Then he can walk back to his house.
Well, once again, it's he feels this is the point of everybody. We feel we can reason with them. You can't. Until you start holding them accountable and putting them in fucking jail and going through these methods. That's some things, like I said, I'm going to be getting together with Darren and everything else. As I'm going through, I've also found out a couple of things. It will cost me nothing once I'm on disability to file a court case. Zero court costs. So I can file as many petitions as I want and put them out there in all courts and never be charged a thing. I'm not inconvenienced. So it's going to give us some opportunity to actually put some stuff forward and everything else, enough to on many different avenues. You know, we're all still trying. Here's the thing. We're all trying to untangle and unfuck what Chevron did and the people that took advantage of that. That's what it comes down to. We have lost our sense of integrity and honor as Americans. If anything, if we want to twist that Constitution one bit, I'm sorry, you don't twist it. It's an untouchable document. It's one of those things we should never compromise on. We agreed to that when we signed that as states, and we should have been teaching that. And, you know, that's one of the reasons I have heard the other administration talking about destroying fucking Department of Education. Leave it up to the states. It's not my fucking problem. Why? Because we come with this national thing. Let you figure it out state to state. But at least be comparable. Why? Because there's no way. There's some systems that just have to be shut down because they're so corrupt or so fucking broken. There's no salvaging it. And that's where you're seeing a lot of these programs that you're going to see deteriorate because they're so far gone. Once they're disassembled and they're bankrupt, or they no longer exist, they can no longer be sued.
Right.
You got to understand, when the IRS, if they come in and shut down the IRS, or do it just for corporations only, which is what the IRS was for, was to tax corporations, not individuals. And you don't blame me? Go down that rabbit hole and look that up. It's absolutely true. It's even been Congress that it's voluntary to help out that system. I mean, all of this has been voluntary. And we don't realize how easily, this is the problem, we don't realize how easily we were sucked in. Our parents were sucked in. Our grandparents were sucked in. Baby steps at a time. It has eroded to basically being enslaved. Does anybody out there, even people that are halfway successful, they're fucking miserable. They said, I don't understand. I've talked to millionaires, billionaires. Why do I have to work this fucking hard? This was supposed to be the easy life because everybody else did it. Now we're incurring so much fucking cost. It's ridiculous. We can't afford this. We can't find good employees. We can't do this. We can't do that. It's hurting. Now you got a bunch of people out here with college educated degrees out of Marxist colleges, which is why he's talking about suing the colleges for what they're putting out. The government going after them because those get federal money and federal grants, Pell Grants. Guess what? When you receive that fucking money, you have to go by the federal guidelines. That means none of your bullshit on campus that you've been doing. So they're calling them out and actually going to hold them accountable under laws that already freaking exist. that under the Chevron doctrine, we're the professional educators. We can do whatever we want. Chevron doctrine's dead. This is just the beginning of the ripple effect. Like I said, a huge change in everything. I knew that was coming. Chevron doctrine got overturned, and once they had that, it's a deck of cards, house of cards.
Yep. All right.
There's so many organizations out there.
Same thing. Now we've got a pediatrician using the what's it called? The reporting thing when healthcare professionals have to report.
Mandated reporting.
Yeah, mandated reporting. This mandated reporting thing is overboard. It's out of control. I mean, this Dr. Regmi might as well be reporting everybody, and he probably is. Okay, you guys need to understand what the end game is here. Okay, when the state takes people's children, whether it's justified or unjustified, that act in and of itself needs to be proven to have been the right thing, or the state has kidnapped the children. You understand the liability with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if their actions are not proven, if your decision to take a child from a home is not provable beyond a shadow of a doubt that you had cause, reason, and everything is provable, then it's a state kidnapping. Okay, that's why
because all that stuff, because of all that stuff he was coding, that'll work in a federal case, but it will not work in a state case. Why? Because they only deal and rule over statutes and codes, not the law. And this is one thing I'm going to tell you guys: if you guys are involved in a case right now, and you got a case ongoing, you're going back and forth to court, I want you to file. It's called, you're going to challenge their jurification. Why? Here's my question. Here's the reason why. Because state courts, if you have any constitutional rights issues, federal issues, or anything else, they cannot address your court or anything else. They can address you to your constitutional rights. And a federal judge then can write the guidelines of the decisions for the questions that need to be made. But the lower court or state judges cannot rule on constitutional rights violations. So you have to change jurisdiction. So you would have your attorney file for a change of jurisdiction under the rule into federal court to answer constitutional rights questions, which the state does not have the authority or the jurisdiction to be able to answer those questions or address them in the particulars of this case, because they do exist. And now you've changed it. The federal judge then will then take and write up what needs to answer the questions. You'll be very generic in your words on how you do it. For example, if a state employee does this, this, and this, is this legal? Is this not legal? Can they enter? Can they come in? And so let's say we have now, Your Honor, we have an issue of a he said, she said. Okay, well, then the questions that are going to become is saying, is it not also true? Because here's the thing. Well, they invited me in. Herbert, you were a cop, right?
Yeah, for over 30 years.
Okay. What did you have to do if somebody waived their rights? Didn't you have a form for that they had to sign, usually in front of a camera?
That they waive their rights? You have to give me a scenario.
They want somebody that I want to go on record saying something. I'm caught up in a murder and I just want to confess to the murder. I waive my right to an attorney and I want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. If they waive their rights, they have to sign something saying that they waived their rights.
Listen. Do you hear what he just said? So if they've entered your home and said that, well, they said I could come in, where's my paper that says I waived my rights? Because even the police have to follow that. They're actually following the proper policy. If I waive my rights, I have to sign it and in front of witnesses that will testify. How many witnesses you got to have? Isn't it 2?
Yeah. So, yeah, they waive their rights. Also, the Miranda doesn't have to be read to each person that's being placed under arrest.
Yeah. See?
The only time we read the Miranda is when we're going to interrogate the person. If I have no reason to talk to you beyond your name and date of birth and address, I don't have to read you your rights.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not asking you about what happened. I'm not asking you about what situation was. I'm just placing you under arrest. So you don't. But departments do tell officers to read the rights anyway.
Yes, just to cover their butt. My point was on this, guys. If you listen to what Herbert, where I'm getting with this with Herbert, is to waive your right to entry or any of your rights, including your Fourth Amendment, to come into your home and be questioned. It has to specifically say, and you sign off in front of two witnesses, that you sign off that you give them the authority, or you waive your right for them to come into your home and question you on your private property. If they don't have that document, they've just committed a felony.
That's right. All right, let's wrap this. Let's see what we got.
You guys can't be wrong. I understand the pressure you're under. Mm-hmm. Okay, but there's CPS workers out there that don't care. Mm-hmm. You know, if you did your job every day and nobody told you were doing anything wrong, and the courts always backed you up, what motivation would you ever have to do the right thing? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? How gray those lines get. Right. So that's where we're at, and that's the unfortunate truth of things. And I would like for you guys to share with your coworkers and let them know. Yeah. Because this creates a hazardous work environment for you. Mm-hmm. Okay? And that's important. You're going to be a father if you're not already. Right. And you're going to be a mother if you're not already, hopefully, and you have beautiful families. Mm-hmm. But these intrusions on the family need to be addressed and stopped. Mm-hmm. You know, I appreciate your care for children. Mm-hmm. But we can't take that to the nth degree and then create an accident or make an accident or grab a baby by mistake, and then watch the courts fully support the abduction, right, like they did with Danny's 3 children, just to avoid the liability. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. She can't ever have her children back, right, because then the state would be saying, yeah, you're right, I kidnapped them. Mm-hmm. That's where so I hope this has helped you guys kind of understand from people's perspective what's really going on.
Brooke just hit me up on the email, and we can go over and put up some stuff.
She's a congresswoman.
We can educate you some.
That found the frauds and abuses here by CPS all over the country, and she actually became a national spokesperson for voicing these things, and she was a congresswoman. Mm-hmm. And she made this her mission, and she was found dead in her bed. Wow. They called it a murder-suicide. Mm-hmm. Husband shot her in the back of the head and then killed himself. Mm-hmm. But she had all the information. She was in power. She was a congresswoman. She was ordering these reports. Mm-hmm. And people do what congresswomen tell them to do. And she had all the dirt. Mm-hmm. And it's out there. It's available. And you guys should look at it, because I want everybody to be safe, always. Okay. And your job has gotten particularly dangerous with what's going on. Mm-hmm. And you guys need to know that and hopefully take steps to correct that. I was hoping to do that in Isabella County, but I couldn't, because they'd already committed a crime, right? and then had to cover up for it. So hopefully this is kind of like preemptively helping, where we're not already parents of a hostage situation. Right. So anyways, the bottom line is the federal government gives the county, Bay County, or in this case, or Isabella County, $180 money for children absconded from parents and put into the foster care system. Right. Okay, the state is using this, you guys, as a tool to bring money to the county and state. There's a reason why you feel you can walk right up to my door past a no trespassing sign and barge into my house and say, well, you got a dirty spoon next to the coffee maker, so we're going to take your child. Right?
Not necessarily.
I know.
Not necessarily. He didn't say no.
In Isabella County, that would
not necessarily.
Well, I hope not. I hope not. How long have you been?
Well, it's fair to say not necessarily, because we don't know the circumstances.
Almost 5 years.
5 years. You ever run across anybody like me?
Yeah, in Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah.
In Texas, they know what they're doing down there.
Yeah.
How about you? How long have you been?
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Well, that's good. It's really important that you know, you guys know from this stage in your careers what's going on, because I feel that it's up to you guys to bring this about and make positive change.
This guy's talking too much.
For every child's sake.
Yeah,
way too much.
State abductions.
I've had about enough of it. You guys?
Right.
Yep.
All right.
It would be not so easy to do. So I again, change. And like I said, you can call me anytime. Okay, I'm available 24/7, and I'd be happy to help you or work with you.
Well, he just talked the shit out of it.
You know, that's
They were like,
what I'm
"Hey,
here
we gotta get out of here."
because it needs to be addressed. And
Maybe that was
got my email.
You know, the poor parents are getting picked on that don't know what I know. Safe and hopefully, you know, help.
I don't have
make
a way to
difference.
type anything here, so I can't
So
even.
So here we go.
I can send Brooke your email.
That's fine. Just send it over. Listen,
All
the
right.
guy talked too much. Let me get this through you. Let me give you some insight to this. This family has already been whipped once. He is begging and pleading, basically, to not do it again. They have broken this family so bad. I want you to hear that he's saying there's no reason for it. I'm trying to be rational. I'm trying to be this. I don't want this. I don't want that. They're at the end of their damn rope.
Yeah.
And this is a brand new baby thinking they can start again, try and move past as the kids get older, do this, that. But basically, it's their state government saying you shouldn't have children.
Yeah.
What government should ever fucking tell you that fucking right? I mean, is the mom a drug user? Are we talking about this? Or are we talking about that? I mean, what are we talking about? And if so, has she been convicted? There's a big difference between acting because you're innocent until proven guilty. Once again, you're talking about how they should overlap. But this man's already been beaten by the system, took everything they have to move out of the county into probably another county, and he's going through the same fucking thing. And you can tell he hasn't learned much or where to do or deal with anything because of what CPS ended up doing. They should be filing for a constitutional rights violation of kidnapping. No court order, no this, no that. And you can have a reason to overlook Rooker versus Feldman. Your Honor, we're not asking of anything if it was legal. We're just taking in, we're just doing our jobs. I mean, I just don't get it. You know, they're trying to do their jobs. You know, over here, you're trying to take and do this over here. This family's just beat to shit, begging them to stop instead of saying, no, I know how to fight you. We're wore down by the state court systems. You still are coming after me. We don't have a right to a family is what my government's saying to me. I can't have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yet, let alone children were kidnapped because where's the court order? Where's this? Where's that? That's kidnapping. But they're going to fight with the state, the same people that are paying their fucking paychecks. Do you see the contradiction? And your local attorneys are not going to tell you because they don't make any fucking money because they got a lower grade or take a lower. Listen, there's levels of licensing with lawyers. Not every lawyer goes into federal court because they have to pass a certain fucking test and be certified to go into that federal court. If not, they're going to stay in the local courts or the state courts. I'll never do that. And they select their license. So you got somebody in family court that this, which is why it's so fucking dirty. And this goes to the Bar Association. I'm sorry. If your attorney can't deal with something from family court all the way into a federal fucking courtroom, you shouldn't be a fucking attorney. I'm sorry. Because even in every family court case, there are constitutional issues that come up, which that court is not legally allowed to answer those questions. And for you to ignore them is actually a violation of your contract to represent your client to the best of your abilities and uphold the Constitution. If you're not doing it in federal court, because you need to ask those questions to a federal judge of instance and be able to articulate that to make the state with checks and balances to go back instead of your family attorneys go on, well, we'll just play it safe. We'll just do it this way. We're just going to do this, this, and that. And if you just follow our rules, then you're just going to do that. Fuck you. Fuck you. The problem is you don't know how to fight because you think, well, just go ahead and appeal it. Just keep spending the money in the court system. Keep tying this up. You don't have to wait for a federal fucking lawsuit any fucking time. And if you can't do it, then you better fucking dig in your knuckles, study the fuck up, and go pro se and represent your fucking self. Because a lot of these attorneys out there won't do it, or they want to hose you, or they're all part of the bar. Here's the other funny thing. Guess who sits usually on the bar review boards and everything else? Your state fucking judges. Isn't that a fucking counterintuitive? Hey, I sit on this committee under the Bar Association, and they'll list it on their fucking titles. They have to by law. Right. I'm a member of the Bar Association Ethics Committee. So anything that comes in under ethic, I'm part of that board or that panel that reviews those cases. And that kind of fucked up.
So I don't know if you heard, Gutter, but I met with Richard today in his office. And he did agree that we do need to challenge the jurisdiction.
100%. If you have constitutional rights things you need to do and just articulate it, hell, I'll help a fucking lawyer taking right shit for fucking federal. It's not that hard.
But here's the funny thing. When they came to where I was staying, okay, it wasn't even in their county. It was in Saginaw County, which my attorney is out of.
Well, once again,
and then they had everything supposedly happen here. Well, this is Cumberland County, not Kennebec County.
Once again, this is all how it's divided. They have made this system, even though it's a state-run system, they divided it by counties. And the thing is the only people that have the authority to usually go in with these things, unless it's a big conglomerate city like Chicago, Detroit, such a large city that the county doesn't even get involved. 90% of the time, it's a county deputy going out to those places because they have full reign over the whole county. So they'll make friends with the sheriff's department. Your sheriff's department should not be making friends with the state. I'm sorry. They're there to enforce that the Constitution is upheld by everybody, including city police departments. The police and the sheriff's office are two different things with two different authorities completely. The only authority derived from police departments are from the cities and or the states, and your sheriff is a constitutionally elected sheriff, which answers to its county and we the people. They're supposed to be there to protect the people.
I beg to differ on that. We have similar missions. Police department and county sheriff. Very similar. Okay, similar, but not exactly the same.
Very similar, but police department isn't appointed. It's not an elected position within the departments.
And the deputy sheriffs are employed also. The sheriff is elected. The sheriff is elected. The people under him are just like police officers.
Yes, and who's held accountable when they take and do bad? The sheriff.
Derek, can you tell me
elected, and he can be removed.
The sheriff.
Yeah,
guys, we got to wrap it, but
wrap.
The Google Meets link is in the back.
Jumping on.
Someone send me that, please.
Send what?
The Google Meets link.
Oh, fine. I'm sure a bunch of these people. Good Lord.
Try again in a few seconds.
My point is, guys, you're noticing how up they are and everything else. The thing is one, you're talking too much. Two, this is a prime example of this is psychological warfare. And right there was a perfect example of somebody that has been beat the shit out of and it's just begging for it to stop. That's exactly what's happening there.
Yep. All right, let's do some final thoughts, guys. Herbert, final thoughts?
Well, my final thought is, as always, stay away from being a victim of CPS. Try not to be a target. Understand the do's and don'ts. And remember, once they're after you, they stay on top of you. They don't let you go.
All right, my man Gunner.
Guys are more sophisticated than what we think. They're a lot deeper, and their claws are very deep in it. They're working on a national database system that also takes and is tracking your gun rights. They are slowly eroding in one organization, slowly eroding your rights, and they're doing it under the color of law illegally. And this is why CPS must be shut down, because of its constitutional rights violations and the criminal activity that has happened. It's bottom line. That's what it comes down to. It's just that simple.
All right, Vincent.
Keep me in your thoughts, guys. I have court early tomorrow morning. Hopefully it goes very well, which I'm assuming it's gonna. But keep in mind, people, do not let these people in your house without a warrant or a court order from a judge with its seal.
All the fixings on it, right, Vinny?
That's right.
All the trimmings. Get your cranberry sauce too, damn it.
Just the way Vinny likes it. All the stuff on it. All right, everybody. I'm going to go with this one. All I'm going to ask for is everybody tonight, pray for Vinny, man, because tomorrow could be big things for him. I don't want to say anything other than that. I'm the CPS Punisher. Tonight, pray for Vinny. That's all we can say. I'm the CPS Punisher. We're all out of here.
I had a date with the devil, then I changed the schedule. Earned several medals by slanging that heavy metal. Turquoise and a feather, speaking to the spirits. Baby, tell me you can hear it. I die for what I hold dearest. Hope it never has to come to that. Promise I'm never gonna run from that. Step my ground like a man, draw the line in the sand. Yeah, family over everything, regardless how it land. I'll be damned if my soul damn. And me and karma gotta hold hands. I'll go to war any minute, I'll be fighting for my children, so the enemy got no chance. I'm a warrior for what's right, even though I did some wrong things. I wanted to get on for my offspring, try to do it big so my kids could enjoy all of the small things. They say they could die young, I'm still breathing. I'm the son of the righteous, but my father was a heathen. When I go, with him I'm leaving. A story worth reading, or a bunch of tales that probably drive my children off the deep end. Said it could die young, I'm still breathing. I may have ran with some demons, but I've never been a heathen. I believed all along, writing my wrongs in my songs. I put family over everything till everything was gone. Yeah, I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts. I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts. I had a talk with the angels, told me I'm in danger. Look at my reflection, see the image of a stranger. Been a long ride, what will I do with the remainder? Good die young, so my species are endangered. In the jungle with my guns out. Been through the storm, but the sun's out. I see the clouds coming, I'm not running from the flood, cause this time the enemy is gonna get flushed out. I'm on the pirate ship with all my gold. It can sink, the story still be told. This is the tale of the hopeless, I'm the poet of the broken, never true words spoken from the soul.
You good, bro?
Yeah.
You look like you just buried a body.
Say that. They said it could die young, I'm still breathing. I'm the son of the righteous, father was a heathen. When I go, with him I'm leaving. A story worth reading, or a bunch of tales that probably drive my children off the deep end. Said it could die young, I'm still breathing. I may have ran with some demons, but I've never been a heathen. I believed all along, writing my wrongs in my songs. I put family over everything till everything was gone. Yeah, I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts. I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts.
And like the vault is free. I gain more value out of the vault than like this freaking $4,800 program I bought.